Whoa. There's a cherry down there. Nice grab, nice grab. Nice. Cut up, cut up.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Forward, down, forward, wide.
Whoa. Whoa.
Okay, I'm back, everybody. Sit together, all right?
Whoa!
Whoa!
Hello, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 59. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Ruuts. Ruuts, how have you been, sir?
Good, good. Just enjoying my spring. Looking forward to summer. So.
Yeah, it's very summer-like here. Like, it's friggin' hot, man, and humid. It's like rained every day this week, but not like enough to make you stay indoors. Just enough to keep the humidity at high enough to choke me to death.
Yeah, how's that affecting your virtual reality? Is it making it a little bit harder to stay in?
Well, honestly, I haven't played a lot of VR this week. As you know, I've been on vacation from work, and literally Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday, I did absolutely nothing. I did nothing. I slept, I woke up, hung out with my family, went back to sleep, lather, rinse, and repeat. No show, no VR, no Discord. I mean, I just tuned out for 3 days and got some much needed rest.
Yeah, sometimes you need that rest. You need to tune out from everything and focus on everything but, right? So you can come back and be fresh for the 59.
Well, to be honest, you know, the last time I was in contact with everybody was, you know, during the Monday show live stream this past Monday. And at that point, I had pretty much been awake for 3 solid days. I mean, I'd take an hour nap here, 2 hours there, but I hadn't slept, and I was zombified trying to chat with everybody on Monday, nodding in and out, you know, going to sleep, and I couldn't stay awake. I stayed up that whole previous night because I decided that, you know, the topic we had on the Monday show was one that I really enjoyed talking about, but it got a little technical here and there, so I felt I needed to add in those clips and those infographics and stuff. And just finding that stuff takes a bunch of time, let alone editing it down and timing it right and getting it all lined up. So yeah, by the time I finished that, and I'd been up for a few days, and I couldn't hardly stay awake to chat, I thought it might be a good idea to just tune out and take a break, and that's what I did.
To get 3 days of sleep, pretty much, and get caught back up, so you're good.
I slept for a solid day, like a solid day I slept. And then after that, I just woke up and, you know, I was just hanging out with the family, just not playing VR or anything else, just chilling, you know, catching up. This is nice to be home.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good.
But, you know, looking down the lineup this week, man, it doesn't look like I missed a whole lot. We're going to have a bit of a different show today. Nothing really here that we're going to deep dive on too much. There's no new game announcements. None that I'm interested in anyway. I mean, there was a couple of little things, but nothing worth talking about in my opinion. But there were some things worth talking about. Namely, we had a birthday, Ruuts. We had a couple of birthdays actually. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah, actually. And I was a little bit sad because I lost my birthday and went for the first one. and went back to the CV1, and I've been thinking about the evolution of the generation and the optics as I'm watching this trailer, and thinking how amazing that was. But yeah, no, that's pretty exciting. It's been a year; it went by quick.
Yeah, so it has been now a full year since we first got our hands on not only the Oculus Rift S, but the Oculus Quest. Looking back, it doesn't seem like a year, but at the same time, it seems like forever ago, right? It seems like it was a whole different universe back then.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been that year went by fast, and we're already talking about Quest 1.5, and Rift S is starting to not be bad, but not be as good. You got the new Reverb 2.0 coming out. You know, I mean, we're already seeing leaps and bounds in 1 year. It's crazy.
Yeah, how about that Reverb 2.0? Definitely, if the leaks are correct, looks like WMR, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it makes me curious to see what the tracking is going to be like. You know, and somebody pointed out the controller doesn't look that good. I think it was Drillo. Looks a lot like the Touch, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though, that it looks like a touch controller. It looks way better than WMR 1.0. And as far as the tracking goes, they've moved it up to 4 cameras now instead of 2. So there are side tracking cameras now, in addition to the ones on the front. So, assuming that these people at HP and Microsoft have their software on point, we should be seeing a much improved product from the next generation WM.
What do you think the cost is going to be? Somewhere between.
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
And specs, I guess, will tell you as well. You know, but makes me curious to see if it will be somewhere between the Rift S and the Index. So.
Right. I would expect, price-wise, that it will be exactly that. I would imagine probably around $700, $750, something like that. Which, if it's spec'd the way we think it's going to be, that's probably a fair price, assuming that they've got better screens than the original Reverb had, and there's no Mura, or we don't see the edge of the screens in the periphery. As long as they've got all that stuff on point, I think $700 is a fair price. Now, with that said, I don't see myself running right out to buy one. Honestly, I'm kind of happy with what I have, unless somebody's going to give me something that's a real change, like some more field of view or something to that effect.
Yeah, do you think the field of view will be the same, like 110, is what people think, right?
Well, it's hard to say, and it's even after they announced the specs, it's going to be hard to tell, because they said the Reverb was like 120 or 125, something like that, and it wasn't. It wasn't even close. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. Wait for a review. I would advise anyone to wait for a review. I wouldn't pre-order one at all. But yeah, I mean, if they got it up to like 140, I would consider upgrading. But outside of that, I mean, I'm happy with my Rift S, and I've got my VR ears coming, so that's going to take care of the sound. So I mean, I really don't need an upgrade until it's really an upgrade. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, this is kind of too far in the middle for me as well. So for that cross.
But yeah, yeah. So basically, I'm happy right now. Honestly, I question whether or not I would even have both of my headsets that I have right now if I had a link cable. I still want to check that out and see how well it works, especially if people are dropping $6 for a Rift S. I might be persuaded to grab that paper while I can and hold on to it until next year when something really compelling does get released.
Yeah, very true.
Anyway, it's been a year. It's been a year since we got our hardware upgraded for us by Oculus. And thinking back, to the state of things at that time as compared to now. Not the state of the world in general, but the state of VR. It's almost hard to remember those days, right? When VR was dead. Remember, VR's dead, and like $20 was an expensive game, and things have changed so much. We've had groundbreaking hardware. We've had groundbreaking software. VR is in demand today more than it ever has been before. Headsets are back ordered, and I gotta say, honestly, if we're being honest here, a good majority of the state of VR, a good majority of the credit for that can go to the Oculus Quest. Oculus Quest has raised the profile of VR in the mind of the mainstream user, and I think that VR, all VR platforms, whether it be console, PC, or standalone, I think they all have some debt of gratitude that they owe to Oculus for making VR accessible.
Man, making it mainstream as well, right? Where people actually know what the hell it is. Even without Half-Life Alyx, which again was a huge thing, the Valve Index, but the Quest was just something different. You especially at Christmas time, right? You had celebrities opening it up, showing their videos on all the social media platforms. That was huge. So
yeah, it's people don't really think about it. When they think about how Quest is out of stock and how it's been out of stock, the first thing that comes to their mind is the outbreak, right? That it's a supply problem because of that. But I mean, think back. This thing's been out of stock since late October, early November. Like, remember, because people wanted to get these for Christmas, and the only thing that they could find was Oculus Go, remember? Because they were sold out. It's been sold out since then. So literally, the thing's been out for a year, and the last 6 months of that, it's been sold out. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, like you said, you got in the last episode 1.5 coming out. So everybody that doesn't have one is now content to wait a little longer for the better model, just to see what's going to come out. So they're playing it really smart, and a lot of people, even like you, might go down and buy another one, the better version, if it's that much of an upgrade, and sell your old one. So I don't know. It's a good time.
Yeah, man. Just the prospect of all this new hardware coming up has kind of got me in the Roots mindset now of, what do I need to hold on to, and what do I need to let go of? What can I grab some cash from really quick now, so that I have money next year? Because I have a feeling I'm going to need that cash, man.
So much coming out, especially with the PlayStation 5. And we're finding out that that's becoming a must-have from day one. Did you see the rumors that, well, I guess that's not a rumor, that they...
Or did you hear it's going to be better than PC?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. And actually,
it's proven.
In some ways,
it's
right?
proven fact.
Yeah, well, Carmack.
Proven fact that PS5. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is a quote from John Carmack. PlayStation 5 is so revolutionary that PC will be obsolete by the year 2020.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't see that quote, but I'm sure it'll freak somebody out until they look it up. Realize it's not real.
In all seriousness, though, the Quest has been an overwhelming success. It's gotten the public at large excited about VR, which has made it more profitable, which has made it a viable marketplace for developers. Now, we haven't seen all of the dividends that's going to pay yet. We're going to see that over the next few years unfolding. But, to mark the anniversary this week, Facebook did something that they don't do often, and that is they shared some stats and some sales figures. So according to the company, people spent more than $100 million on Quest content since the headset first shipped in May 2019. So that's $100 million on standalone VR content, Roots, in a year.
That's crazy. It's a lot of content, and they're ready to snatch up anything else that comes out, right? Any new game, it's prime for it.
Well, you remember how it was when we first got into VR, right? Anything that come out, right? We had to have it.
Yeah. And now there's so much. It's like now I get to pick and choose a little bit. So
yeah, I was looking earlier today through the Steam catalog or something, and just trying to find stuff that I wanted to play that I didn't have already. And I mean, it's pretty tough, dude. It's tough to find something on there that I actually want to play, but I don't have access to.
Yeah, that is pretty tough. It's a good problem to have, though, right?
It's a great problem to have. This data point comes shortly after Facebook announced back in March that more than 20 Quest titles had reached $1 million in revenue. Facebook has also said that more than 10 titles have generated more than $2 million each in the Quest store alone. They didn't name them all, but they did name Moss and Pistol Whip as being among these titles. So 10 titles, Roots, have generated more than $2 million in revenue in a year's time. I mean, again, thinking back to the state of VR a year ago at this time, I mean, to make $1 million on a game was pretty much unheard of, right?
VR was dead, and we were all just one game away from not playing VR anymore. So now everything's turned around, and it's good.
Yeah, it really is. It's great. So Moss and Pistol Whip. Moss, of course, was originally released on PSVR and PC in 2018, but was ported to Quest on launch day, May 21st, 2019. Assuming that the title has just now reached that $2 million milestone, this would mean that the game has averaged around $166,000 per month in revenue on the Quest. Pistol Whip, however, didn't show up until November, Roots. November. And again, if we assume that it's just now reaching that $2 million mark, the game has averaged around $315,000 in monthly revenue on Quest alone.
Wow. Well, that's like you said. I mean, that's makes making a game worth it for devs, right? In a market that it's just up until now has been sketchy for most developers. So that's good.
Right. Yeah. It not only does it inspire all of the talented independent developers out there to say, hey, maybe our next game should be in VR, or at least have some sort of VR support, right? It also further emboldens, the Ubisofts out there, and the Capcoms, and the Square Enixes, the AAA developers that have already dabbled in VR. This just goes to show those guys, hey, that it's not all for free. It's not all just an investment. It is starting to pay some dividends as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super Hot VR has now become the second title confirmed to sell 2 million copies. This figure, of course, includes all versions, not just the Oculus Quest versions. But with regards to Quest, the sales of Super Hot are up at least 195% compared to this time last year. So, I mean, it doesn't say Oculus Quest, but obviously if you're selling twice as many copies as you were at this time last year, what's the big difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is a must-own game for VR in general, but definitely for the Oculus Quest, right? And everybody's aware of it because you can play it flat as well. I know, like a lot of people played it flat first, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's one of those strange things that you often forget about, is that there's a flat version of Super Hot, because it was so you know, groundbreaking in VR. It's such a unique experience in VR, and then I don't think I've ever heard anybody actually say that they didn't like Super Hot after playing it.
No, it's just so realistic. People, it just I mean, for something that's so low graphically, I guess, as far as the guys go, everything else, it just really grabs you and makes you feel like you're there. So it does a really good job.
Yeah, look at all those triangles, Roots.
Yeah.
And imagine what Unreal Engine 5 would do for Super Hot.
Oh, I know. Super Hot too.
Only if it's running on PS5 though.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna suck, right?
Yeah, too much for PC to handle. They don't have that. Don't have enough SSD speed.
Yeah.
Anyway, launch sales for Super Hot on Quest were 300% higher than launch sales on Oculus Rift. That, again, you know, it's not just Super Hot. It's all of these developers that are on the official Oculus Quest store. They're all saying the same thing, and then that is they're making money now like they never have before. So, you know, all that we want to criticize Oculus for their standards that they've set on their Quest store and some of their policies. And hell, I even want to criticize, you know, Superhot and Moss for not supporting cross-buy. But the proof's in the pudding here, man. You know, we may not like it as consumers, but money in the pocket of the developers is what's going to keep this ship afloat, right?
Right. It's how we're going to get a sequel to this game finally, hopefully. You know, I want the next gen version of Super Hot.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about that a little later, but I think we may not be waiting too long on that.
Oh, nice.
A new apprentice. Enter my laboratory. I could use a hand around the place. I'll just file this in the archives. Getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we? What have you done? Just look at this place. Oh, come on.
It's official, Roots. Now, out of the box, your Oculus Quest supports full-on hand tracking, 100% free of charge.
That's awesome, dude. That means we're getting it on the Rift S, right?
Nope.
Well, wait, but they said that if it was, they were just going to see if it did well on the Quest, and if it did well on the Quest, they would bring it to the Rift S. So it's doing well enough on the Quest, they're making it standard, right? So that would we should have it on the Rift S. I don't know.
They said they were going to wait for feedback. They said they were going to let the feature release on Quest and then wait for feedback. So, all of you Rift S users out there, if you're mad as hell and you're just not going to take it anymore, leave some feedback. Tell these sons of bitches that you want your hand tracking.
Yeah, and you can't tell me, I mean, it's that different than the Oculus Quest version that they can't just add it in there, even as a beta, you know, just let us slum it with a beta. You know, I don't know, man. I think it's kind of weird. Like, I want to make bubbles and pop them and, you know, be able to do all that cool stuff, but
I want to do this right here.
yeah.
Eat it.
We don't have the proper controllers for that, though. We need the index. So, yeah.
I hope you can see this because I'm doing it as hard as I can.
Yeah. Oh, I see it. It goes well with the hand tracking, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's what I always used to say about Vive Pro when it was overpriced and they started talking about putting the hand tracking on it. I said it's a good thing that they don't have the finger tracking on it. And you know, the Vive guys would go, why? And I'd go,
Man, like,
Right?
screw you.
Because it was like $1,300 or whatever.
That's crazy.
All right. Facebook has introduced controllerless hand tracking in beta on Oculus Quest late last year. Since then, Oculus has been rapidly iterating on the feature and has built it into a few of its first-party applications, like Oculus Browser and Oculus TV. But last week, Quest hand tracking began rolling out as a full-fledged feature, with third-party hand tracking apps beginning to launch this week. So we're beginning to get a few third-party games now that that support this feature, and is going to largely determine for all of us whether or not we give a crap, right? First and foremost among these is Elixir. Elixir is a free application on the Oculus Quest store right now, and the description goes as follows. Explore an unstable alchemy lab to obtain new and powerful hands. Cast spells, mix potions, and poke a nauseated dragon. All of which have an unexpected effect on the anatomy of your fingers. And it's nobody's fault but your own.
Yeah, it
Sounds
magical.
ominous, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds magical, and it sounds a lot like Waltz of the Wizard, kind of, a little bit. I don't know, but I don't know.
It does. It sounds like they're planning on putting like a little bit of a comedy spin on it. Like, yeah, it's another one of those Waltz of the Wizard, which, by the way, also is supporting hand tracking on Quest today. But it's kind of like one of those Waltz of the Wizards wands type games, but it uses your hands, obviously. And I think they're trying to incorporate some comedy into the mix, having you poke a nauseated dragon and having everything you do affect the anatomy of your hands. So I got to imagine that the more you use your powers, the more it's going to deform you, much like Emperor Palpatine. As he used his dark force powers, he became this hideous, decrepit thing. I got to imagine something similar is going to happen here. Hey, there's the dragon.
Yeah, poke him. So you haven't tried this yet, right?
Man. No, I was actually planning on testing out the hand tracking today, but my son was on the Quest every time I went to grab it today. However, I can say for him that he did try the hand tracking, and the cool thing about it is I didn't even tell him it was on there. Like, he discovered it. He's been waiting for it, honestly. Every time he gets in it, he checks to see if he can use it, because this is something he's been excited about, that he's going to get to use his hands in VR, and he doesn't have to use controllers. So, yeah, he actually tried it out today. He tried it on the Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets. And, you know, we all know what the Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets is. We reviewed it on this channel. It's a game where you help your grandfather solve the mystery of the stolen pets by exploring these wonderful miniature worlds crafted from the ground up for VR. Every world is unique, full of interactions and colorful life. So this, Roots, honestly, this is the type of game, one of the few types of games where I could see it maybe being kind of cool to have your hands, because this is a tinkering game, right? A game that you're just constantly messing with stuff. And it's really seems like a game that would be designed for around hand tracking.
Yeah,
right?
I question what the lack of haptics would be like, though. I have to try it to see. It'd be really cool to be able to use your hands, see your hands in real time, grabbing stuff or whatever. But if you have absolutely no feelings whatsoever, like of grabbing anything, it might be very weird to be holding something that you're not holding. And you know what I mean? At least with the controllers, you've got some kind of haptics that makes you feel like you're holding something, you know?
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Perhaps gloves are the way of the future. Yeah, I don't think that controllerless is an option going forward as a main, you know, input device. I think you have to have some sort of interface. Now, whether that be controllers or gloves or one of those wrist things that read your nerve endings, like Oculus recently invested in. I don't know. I don't know what the next thing is going to be. But what I do know is, as a secondary peripheral, that hand tracking under the right application can be really cool.
I think it's cool to have it be default there for like menus, for big screen, whatever, Netflix. I was telling you before, anything like that you don't really want to, you don't need a controller, you don't want a controller, you just want to flip through it real quick, pick it and go. I think it's huge, and that's the biggest thing that I think people would use it for PC, if they wanted to use it, if it was an option, would be to watch big screen or whatever, virtual desktop.
Yeah, absolutely. The applications for social and media content in VR seem much more plausible, don't they? Because when you talk about media consumption, you're talking about buttons, right? And pushing buttons and icons. Obviously, you're going to be able to do that more naturally with your hands. But not only that, when you're talking about social applications, human beings communicate in many different ways. And one of the ways that we communicate is with body language and with our hands. You see me doing it all the time here on the show, that I'm very expressive sometimes with my hands. Not having to hold controllers when you're in something like, Facebook Horizons or AltSpace or VR chat or what have you, any of that, being able to use your hands can make a pretty big difference when trying to convey how you feel to another avatar halfway across the world.
Think about this, Wes. This is going to open up a completely different world for deaf people in virtual reality, talking to each other, and like VR chat, being able to do sign language. Because like, how do you do that before hand tracking? Like, I don't know how, pretty much can go in and not communicate with anybody. So
just brings more
users.
More right, because what are the qualities that the Oculus Quest was founded on, right? Ease of use and accessibility, and that's what you've got here. You're making it easier to use and more accessible for handicapped people, like you just mentioned. Now they're where they weren't able to communicate before without typing or something. Now they can. And I'm really interested. I hate keyboards in VR.
Mm-hmm.
I hate trying to friggin' point my controller at a keyboard and click keys. Maybe this is the answer. Maybe this is the thing that makes VR keyboards more viable.
Yeah, I would love it to feel like a normal keyboard, because like you said, even just trying to push with a controller and like a finger is a pain in the butt, right? So
yeah, 100%. I always get dumbfounded when I hear these people talking about using mouse and keyboard to play a VR game. Like, this always blows my mind. Like, dude, I have a hard time typing my name when I'm in VR. You're going to use it as a game controller?
Yeah,
come on,
it's crazy. I guess if you're just using the WAS and Z or whatever in the space bar and then the mouse,
Yeah, and you're sitting there with the keyboard in your fucking lap trying to play a VR game. Sure.
If you put it that way, it doesn't sound very comfortable.
It's the superior way, Ruuts.
Yeah, we better start doing it.
Anyway, again, one of the coolest things about what is easily the most exciting platform in VR is all this new crap they keep adding into it, man. Like I said, a new version for the Oculus Quest software is something that you generally tend to get excited about, because they keep adding in all this functionality for free. I mean, they didn't try to sell anybody on Quest being a PC VR headset. They didn't try to sell anybody on hand tracking. This is just all crap that they've decided to add in just because they want to make it a better product. And I think that's commendable.
Yeah, well, they better. They screwed up on the weight of it so bad. I was looking at a Reddit post today, and somebody had strapped some kind of a brick to the back of their headset or whatever, and it always makes me chuckle. The Franken Quest, you know, it's like, man, that is a meme. It's crazy, and hopefully the second one will be the opposite. You know, they learned their mistakes. It's the most comfortable headset on the market. You don't need extra stuff right off the bat. So that's what I get excited for.
Yeah, I got to imagine that the next Quest will be more comfortable. But again, honestly, my VR cover is enough to make it usable. I mean,
you don't put any weight on the back, or
no, I just use it. Here, I'll show you.
It's weird. It's weird that
I play it right like this right here. Just use this this thick VR cover padding, so that the thing don't dig into my face.
You're good to go.
And, good to go, man. I can, as long as this battery lasts, I can play comfortably. It doesn't bother me. And again, my family, they have access to all of it. They can play anything that they want to play. This is what they come for every time.
Ease of use.
I mean, that's got them. If it was hurting people, they wouldn't be coming for it, right?
Kids maybe. Ease of use though, right?
Ease of use. That's exactly right. And I think that's the biggest reason for the success of the Quest. You know, that and affordability. I mean, now VR, $400 flat. You can have VR, and like, nothing else needed. No PC, no PlayStation. All right, so, that's one hurdle. Okay, so it's in our price range now, but still, who wants to get up and plug in a bunch of cables and set up to play a game? If I want to play a game, I just want to play a game, right? Just grab it and play it. We couldn't do that before. Now we can. So it makes sense. It makes sense that Quest is seeing all this success. And I got to imagine going forward, and I'm sure that the PC guys aren't going to like to hear this, but I think from Oculus going forward, that it's very likely that the Rift platform and the Quest platform kind of become the same thing. That there's going to be one headset that's PC and it's standalone going forward.
I think it's good. That's what I want.
I agree.
So,
so anyway, Oculus Quest hand tracking applications. We've got Elixir. We've got the Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets, Waltz of the Wizard, as we already mentioned, and there is a set of cinematic narratives with Gloomy Eyes being one of the titles. We're all familiar with Gloomy Eyes, Colin Farrell. And then there's another brand new title called The Line. And The Line looks pretty cool. I have not tried it out yet, but The Line is coming to us from Avora.
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 Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's coming to us from them. One of the lead voice actors in it was one of the guys from Westworld. He was also in the Stone Age, I think, as well. It's been in a bunch of stuff. Anyway, they've got some legit voice actors in that, just like Gloomy Eyes. So I got to imagine it's probably going to be top notch.
I have to watch those. I haven't watched Gloomy Eyes yet, but I've heard good things about it. So
I haven't either. And, it's available on Viveport. And, we're already got our toe in the water when it comes to this Viveport stuff. Maybe that's an upcoming Monday topic, huh?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I want to watch Gloomy Eyes right now.
Well, maybe we do that tomorrow then. And by the way, while we're on the topic of the Monday show, as of right now, the plan is full steam ahead with the Monday show live. So you guys be on the lookout. 7. Well, are we going to move it back? We probably need to move the Monday show back a little bit for when you have to work late.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably be what, 6 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock yours.
6. Right. So we'll call that the new official time for the Monday show. 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, every Monday, live. As long as everything goes as well. We ran a test earlier today. Everything, almost everything was perfect, and the things that weren't, we worked out. So if everything goes well, the Monday show is going to be live tomorrow. And if that goes well, we might just do it all live, right?
Yeah. We're thinking about Sunday mornings having a nice early stream for you live as well. So
Yeah. So yeah, if the Monday show goes off without a hitch tomorrow, it's highly likely that it might be a good long time before you see another pre-recorded episode from the likes of us.
yeah, which will be good for Wes because he'll have a lot more virtual reality time to play games instead of play edit. So
Yeah, dude, it'd be so awesome. I mean, for every minute that you guys see me on here talking, there's 3 minutes that I'm editing. I mean, it's ridiculous how much. I mean, I could probably have lower standards and put the stuff out that's just good enough. But you know me, good enough's not good enough.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
All right. So in conclusion, Oculus Quest has quickly become one of VR's most compelling platforms. When you consider that Jason Rubin has promised deeper games coming later this year, as well as the indie dev and modding community that has thrived on SideQuest, it quickly becomes obvious that Oculus Quest will continue to play a significant role in bringing VR to the next level. And, again, Roots, SideQuest, I mean, that's a whole other story on its own that's happened this year, right? The rise of SideQuest, the concept to begin with was cool because, when we saw this port on the side of the thing, we knew that a homebrew community was going to spring up straight away. We knew that was coming. What we didn't know is that SideQuest would go on to become a viable option for developers who were spurned by the Oculus Quest store. So if you can't publish officially, you can go to SideQuest and make money. To the Top is a prime example of
It
that.
makes you wonder how. I still don't know how Oculus is letting it on their platform. They could shut it down, right? Anytime they wanted. And, like you said, it's for all the people that were spurned by Oculus. And, but Oculus is just letting them do it. It's just weird, man. If you think of it outside of the box, it just doesn't make any sense.
Honestly, I don't think Oculus minds. I don't think they care that this stuff's on SideQuest. I think that if they wanted any of it on their store, they would put it on there. I think that they had their vision of what they wanted their highly curated store to look like. And you got to remember, too, that the Quest was pretty much an invention of John Carmack. And John Carmack is a longtime proponent of open platforms, right? When you think back to his days in game development with, Quake and Doom and so forth, they always released the source code, right? So people could mod that stuff. And I feel like that same spirit has went into the design and the administration of the Oculus Quest.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense from that standpoint. Carmack's baby. You can definitely see the DNA in it, right? His DNA.
For sure.
Huh.
For sure. And even today, I mean, with the innovations, the things that they're bringing to these updates, you know, every month, every other month. This is all work that he started. They're just finishing it now, right?
Yeah. Well, it definitely makes me want to get a Quest, but I'm glad I'm going to get the Quest 1.5 with the SD card slot and the 1 terabyte hard drive. And what else do I want? Better chip, better screen. I'm
We
daydreaming.
might get a better chip. We'll definitely get a better screen. I do not think we're going to get a external memory support. I do think we're going to get a better device. You know, it's hard to believe. You know, most of these games, and we've said it before, you know, most of them are a gigabyte, right around a gigabyte in size, right? And the conventional wisdom says that the more complex a game is, the bigger the file is going to be. The less complex the game is, the smaller the file is going to be. I just got a copy of Tetris Effect for Oculus Quest, and I would have thought that it would be on the small end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Less than a gigabyte. If the average title is a gigabyte, then Tetris Effect would be less. 3 gigabytes on that one, dude. 3 gigabytes.
Wow.
I know that don't sound like much to a PC gamer, but for a Quest game, 3 gigabytes is a big ass game.
Well, and if you figure the bigger it is, it's probably going to be a little bit more optimized. It's, you know, going to run better. You know, that if the developers have to have a game be bigger to run better, they're going to have it be bigger regardless of your space. And the biggest problem I have with the 64 gigs is, you know, your operating system comes out of that as well. People don't take that into consideration, and it's a standalone unit. And I see so many stories where people are like, man, my Quest is freezing up all the time, or it just, you know, it has all this weird funkiness to it. And they don't realize, you know, just like if you or I, and we've ran into it where for some reason my C drive is almost completely full, and so it's lagging all sorts of other crap out. Well, imagine that in your standalone unit, and you're wondering why you're lagging out, or why it's shutting down early, or the battery's not lasting as long as it used to. Well, you're maxing it out. You've got it at 60 gigs, and you got that 4 gigs space. You know what I mean? So just for that reason alone, I would want double, if not more. And hopefully the new versions will have, like, you know, at least half of a terabyte. I mean, that's probably unrealistic, but I just feel like 128 is just not enough, even not to give you the extra space you want. You don't need to fill it with everything, but what you were talking about, wanting to get some 3D video or, you know, movies, put a couple of those on there, and bam, that's your whole drive. Those are a lot.
Yeah, that's really in all honesty, that's really the only scenario that I could foresee it ever being an issue. I've been more than comfortable with the 64. 128 seems like crazy to me. Like, if I had that kind of space on it, I'd never fill it up. But if you're someone who wants to keep a lot of video, a lot of media files stored locally on the thing, which I could see, you know, being the case for a lot of people. I mean, you want to show off your stuff, right? You want to show it to other people. Kind of the point of the Quest, to show other people your stuff. So, yeah, I could see it definitely becoming an issue in that one application.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I guess it's all about what you want. For me, that little bit of extra space, or actually double the space for $100 is well worth it. But, you know, I don't even have one. So if it was so important to me, I'd have one in general, let alone a 64 or a 128. So.
Well, Santa Claus is going to bring Roots something. I don't think it'll be anything that's on the market today, but I think Santa Claus will probably end up bringing Mr. Roots something.
Yeah, that'd be nice, right?
Yeah. Be a good boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Roots, I think all these PC guys are getting tired of hearing me talk about the damn Quest. They hate the Quest, even though, like, it's the savior of their favorite, technology. They hate it.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear any more about it. They're sick of it. So let's move on from the Quest, Roots.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Sony's Days of Play event, which is starting up on June the 3rd and is running through June 17th. Now, for those of you who don't remember what Days of Play is, Sony really has two big sales events during the course of a year. I mean, big, spectacular sales where tons of games are on sale and the hardware is all on sale. PS Plus memberships are on sale. Everything's on sale. They do it for Black Friday and they do it for Days of Play. And what Days of Play typically is the ramp up to E3, right? Only there's no E3 this year, but there still is going to be Days of Play. Days of Play will feature some of the best hardware and software sales of the year. These sales will be detailed fully next week on free stuff and killer deals. So I didn't want to list it all now and people can't go out and buy it, right? So next week, as these sales are getting ready to go live, we'll highlight some of the better ones. And I've looked through it, Roots. There's some good stuff. Even at this late point in the PSVR life cycle, there's still some value to be found here.
Yeah, that's crazy. So is it time to go out and get a PlayStation 4? Or should I wait for the PlayStation 5? Yeah. I think 5 is probably... I don't know. I guess if you already had the 4, you could get the headset, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would... I'd probably have to advise against buying the console at this point, to be honest. If you think that you're someone who's going to be willing to shell out $500+ for your console and pre-order it so that you get one this year.
No load screens.
Then I would... No, a lot more than no load screens, brother. Lots of magic going on in that thing. But we can talk about that in another video. Yeah, I couldn't really suggest anyone buy the old hardware. If they already had a console and you're asking me, should you buy a PSVR headset? For the right price, I'd say yes, because you already know that it's going to be carried on to the next generation, and it'll always hold some resale value. So even if they do announce the next iteration of PSVR to come out sometime next year, you can always just sell the one you have, or do what I do and keep it and build a second setup so that you can play multiplayer locally. So, Days of Play coming up early next month. We're expecting all sorts of other stuff to come too, right? Like, people are holding their breath waiting for some more PlayStation 5 news. Sony has been very tight-lipped and very secretive about their next-gen platform, but we have just had confirmation that Sony is planning to reveal a, quote, compelling lineup of PS5 titles soon. So we recently heard these rumors, Roots, that on June the 4th, that there was going to be this big games showcase showing off a ton of next-gen gameplay. But up until now, that has all just been rumored. In a recent corporate strategy meeting, Sony said it plans to introduce a compelling lineup of titles for PS5 soon. And, of course, coming off the heels of last week's Unreal Engine 5 demo, the anticipation for a full PS5 reveal has grown exponentially. I mean, I don't know how much you've been watching it, Roots, but the hype is at a fever pitch for the new consoles right now.
Well, think of it. You know, some of the games that everybody's waiting on is, you know, Resident Evil 8, right? And I guess what, Silent Hill, Gran Turismo 7, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, like all these games that people are hoping are going to be announced. So they're that coupled with how amazing this console is looking to be. It's got me hyped. And I, you know, a month or two ago, I was like you even said it. You were like, they're going to have to bring out something more to make me feel like I need to get this now. And would you submit that they've done that? At least so far, everything I've heard is making me think, damn, I need to have this reserved so that I get it on day one versus, let me check it out. Maybe I'll get it a few months or several months after it comes out. So, well,
to be honest, it's a questionable proposition for a VR player. Say it's somebody who's coming in to PSVR for the very first time. I could see them maybe being skeptical. But you and I, we've had PlayStation before. We know what's coming on PS5, right? Even if it doesn't launch, when the exclusive Sony VR games come out on PlayStation 5, they're going to be incredible, right?
Yeah. Well, imagine if this is like a new IP, this game right here, and it's, you know, I know it's just a demo, but, you know, like if you could play this game just like Edge of Nowhere, where it's third person, but you're there, and I mean, it could be a next level Tomb Raider type of game that you've never played before, that there's not been an example of. I mean, I think Sony's on the cusp of making amazing games in VR that we can only dream of. A sequels to loved ones like Farpoint or Astrobot, right?
Right, exactly right. Now that's the promise of the future. But what they're all saying out there right now, though, is why does that mean that I have to pre-order it? Why do I have to have it now? Well, I'll tell you why I have to have it now. They announced last year in a Wired magazine interview that the thing's going to be fully back compatible with Gen 1 PSVR, not just the hardware, but the software as well. So what does that mean? That means that that Farpoint, that Rush of Blood, that Resident Evil 7, the Astrobot, the Here They Lie, that all of my favorite games, and Root, you know, these are my favorite games. Now I'm going to, for the first time ever, I'm going to be able to enjoy them on powerful machinery. And I know while the naysayers out there want to say, well, those games are going to need to be patched before you see any benefit. That's true in some areas, but in other areas it's not. Like when we're talking about foveated rendering and anti-aliasing, this stuff is all dynamic, right? It's all based upon the amount of system resources that you have available. And if you're playing it on a beefy machine, all of a sudden that foveated rendering is going to go away. All of a sudden that shimmer is going to go away, and we're going to be able to see these beautiful games, these already beautiful games, as an entirely new experience.
Yeah, I agree. It makes me psyched for it already.
Think about something like Astrobot Rescue Mission and just how beautiful. I mean, I haven't seen very many PC VR games that are that beautiful from inside the headset. Now imagine that being upgraded to some actual PC level hardware. I mean, it's just nuts.
Most people don't take into consideration just the fact that there's going to be no more clipping in graphics on anything with that hard drive being so fast, or I guess not hard drive, SSD. There's just going to be no clipping. Everything's going to be already rendered and ready to go. Even the older games, it's just going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely no pop-in whatsoever. No loading. No copying and reusing textures. It's a common technique that's used in video game design today, that textures are just copied and pasted all over the place. That's kind of how they build the game, because that's how they have to due to limited resources. No more. And that's kind of what this this Unreal Engine 5 was built around. It was showing you that no more are we going to have these copy and paste textures, but from now on, after this gets implemented, of course, a few years from now, every pixel is going to be rendered individually in real time with dynamic lighting. Just amazing. But as far as PS5 goes and PSVR, I could understand some people saying, I want to wait to get in. But for someone like me who already loves these games and already knows that I'm going to be buying it anyway, it's a day one purchase for me.
Yeah, I think it might be for me as well.
Anyway, June 4th was the rumored date for the big games reveal, but in recent days, those rumors have changed. We don't know exactly what day it's coming on. I would imagine that it's going to fall somewhere within the days of play. So that 2-week period from the 3rd to the 21st, I would imagine at one of those days, we're going to get this big PS5 games reveal. Like you said, Resident Evil 8 is expected to be shown. We've got a lot of rumors leaked about that game over the last couple of months, one of which is that it's going to be supported once again by PlayStation VR. So that, of course, is of the utmost excitement for me, being my favorite game. Silent Hill is all but confirmed now, Roots. Apparently, Sony has licensed the Silent Hill franchise from Konami, and this game has been in development for quite some time now at Japan Studio. So we've known that Japan Studio has been working on something, right? And we were speculating maybe it's Astrobot. Apparently it's Silent Hill, Roots.
Do you think they're going to be putting it in VR?
I'm very hopeful, because after all, it is Sony Japan Studio, right?
Yeah, they definitely know how to do it. So they should know there's a demand now. Let me ask you this: if Resident Evil 8 is coming out, say with PlayStation 5 on day one, VR patch included, or actually, let's not even say patch. Let's just say it's from the get-go VR optimized. Do you feel pressure to finish 7 before 8 comes out, or you just buy 8 and say screw it?
I'm at the boss fight of 7, dude. I mean, I'm at the end of it, so I'll probably just finish it off next time I'm on a PSVR binge. I'll probably just jump in there real quick and finish it off.
Okay.
But no, I don't feel any pressure. I'm pretty much done with it already. So
cool.
But yeah, Resident Evil 8, Silent Hill coming to us from Sony Japan Studio, which it's cool, man. Yeah, I follow a lot of these good people on Twitter, and Kojima, was visiting Sony Japan Studio just 2 or 3 months ago, and now it starts to make sense. If they're working on Silent Hill, it makes sense that Kojima's going there. Right? Yeah. Gran Turismo 7, another one rumored to be part part of this game showcase. No big surprise here. We heard last year a lot of details from the people that make Gran Turismo about what they plan to do next generation. I do once again expect PSVR support for the next Gran Turismo, and I expect full VR support next time, not the limited support that we got on PS4.
Yeah, me too. I hope anyway. What do you think about Dirt Rally, man? Dirt Rally's is getting kind of weird about their not doing VR this next time, even though last time they had to have a petition put out to put it back out, and then their servers sucked, and I don't know. I think this time they really aren't going to go VR.
Screw them, man. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dirt Rally anyway. So,
well, yeah, when they came out with that thing and made it $60, I was just kind of like, yeah, it left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, maybe I could see it on Steam because you're selling the flat people there, but on Oculus Store, I mean, that's just VR, man. Not many VR games command $60.
Yeah, true.
I can really think of one that well, I could think of two or three that could do it, you know.
And get away with it. Only really one that should be $60. You know.
I think Asgard's Wrath should be $60 as well.
Okay.
Honestly. It's a lot of game.
True, it is a lot of game. Need to finish it.
I uninstalled it today just so I could have space to install the Holy Land.
Yeah.
Or the Holy City. The Holy City.
Yeah, you should. Too bad they don't have a version of that for the Quest.
Dude, I don't know if it would run on the Quest. It's impressive.
Yeah, I need to get in there. Yeah, I almost was going to go check it out, and then you said 60 gigs, and I was like, I don't have time to download 60 gigs before the show. So.
But we will talk about that probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
Most likely. Resident Evil 8, Silent Hill, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Zero Dawn 2. Big rumors have been, ever since Herman Hulse took over at PlayStation, that the big PS5 launch title is going to be Horizon Zero Dawn 2. You know, on top of that, we've also heard very strong rumors that the first Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be ported into PlayStation VR, which I think is cool because I've never played that game, but a lot of people really enjoy it, and I think it looks cool. So,
yeah, I've never played it either. That's actually good. Anytime they bring in something like that people love into VR is a good sign, because I've said it before, you know, we're on the cusp of them bringing almost anything into VR. If they make it to where it's not that big of a pain in the butt anymore, it's like an afterthought. Sure, why not? We're gonna spend 40 hours making it into VR, but we're gonna sell X amount of copies. Win-win. I think we start getting a lot of our favorites in there, and that'll be cool. Even if it's like a Tomb Raider or, you know, whatever from a third person point of view, I do it. Bioshock, yeah.
Bioshock, that's the one everybody wants.
Infamous.
Bioshock, man. That's what I want. It's Infamous.
Yeah.
Just to be able to grind those power lines, dude, and rain lightning down on bad guys on the street. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I just think after playing through Edge of Nowhere and how amazing that game was, it opened my eyes that you can do just about any third person game in VR if it's done right. So
absolutely. I absolutely concur 100%. Anyway, those 4 games, highly likely to be part of this Sony PS5 games reveal. What else might we see? Well, we do know that Impulse Gear is working on another title. They have been for some time now. Who's Impulse Gear, you might ask? Impulse Gear are the talented developers that brought us Farpoint. So fingers crossed, Roots, maybe we'll get a glimpse of the sequel to Farpoint.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We could hear more on Dreams. You know, Dreams just went into closed beta for their VR mode just a few days ago. So it looks like the PSVR support could be coming sooner rather than later.
That's awesome. Can't wait.
That is awesome. It's really awesome. And then there's Humanity, Roots. Everybody forgot about Humanity. You know, last year, about this time last year, during the Upload VR E3 VR showcase. Oh no, it wasn't during that. It was during a State of Play. Humanity was revealed. I remembered it was that State of Play where they said they didn't show anything for VR, and they showed like not Bout of Blood, but that other game that was similar to Bout of Blood. They showed that. They showed Paper Beast, and then they showed Humanity. And we've got those other two games. We still haven't seen another frame from Humanity, and that's a game that was projected to release on PlayStation 4 this year. So I got to imagine we're going to hear more about Humanity very soon.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we don't. For sure.
I mean, that was an interesting looking game, and coming from the developers that, of course, brought us Res Infinite and Tetris Effect, I got to imagine it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right. Anyway, so that was PS5 reveal coming up, I would say, in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So those of you who care, keep an eye out.
Start drones incoming on an intercept course. Sir, hostiles inbound, 10 o'clock.
Time for the hero thing.
PlayStation.
And of course, you know, Days of Play, PS5 games reveal, all of this exciting stuff going on in the world of PlayStation. But that's not all, Roots, because just this last week, a post on the PlayStation blog revealed to the world that the highly anticipated PSVR exclusive Iron Man VR has a playable demo available on the PlayStation Store right now. The demo includes a tutorial mission in which you suit up and learn to fly, as well as one of the game's very first story missions in which Tony Stark defends his private jet from incoming attacks. Roots, I have played this demo, and pretty much all of the footage that we've seen, all of the gameplay footage we've seen thus far, that's what the demo is. It's that.
Okay. So what was it like playing it? Was it any different? Because I guess what we heard from everybody was that the flying felt so good that it was just next level. And what did you think? Was it next level, or was it just like, it's just mediocre? And a lot of people were saying, oh man, they gave you a free demo, so it must be good. So is that true?
It is. It's very good. It really is. It's but to be honest, I mean, I wasn't surprised by it. I expected it to be very good. You know, I've been following this game closely for 6+ months now. I expected this game to be very good. They're building hardware bundles around this game, even at this late stage in the life of PlayStation 4. They're building bundles around this game. Yeah, it felt great, man. I mean, it wasn't perfect. One of the things I really didn't like about it was it had that scheme where if you want to turn left, you have to use the left controller. If you want to turn right, you have to use the right controller. So I kept finding myself trying to use the right controller to turn left, and just getting stuck there while enemies are attacking me. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but I would have much preferred both controllers allowing you to go both ways. But yeah, the flight controls are pretty intuitive, man. I mean, it does take practice to get super precise with it, but it's all about how you angle your wrist, pretty much, as to what direction you go in. So you'll keep it pointed down to fly upward, and then if you want to fly forward, you'll just kind of tilt backwards. If you want to fly down, you just point your palms up. It's all about where your palms, your in-game palms, are pointing. And so you pretty much are just standing still, controlling the game like this right here. And again, it's very intuitive. You pick it up fairly quickly. Easy to learn, difficult to master.
Sounds like Megaton Rainfall, kind of. That's how the the angling of your wrists and stuff direct which way you go. But how about the story? It seemed pretty good, I guess, right?
Top notch. Voice acting was top notch. Graphics and audio, all great. Gameplay fun, dude. Like these firefights, these mid-air firefights, they're what's going to make the game. I mean, the storytelling looks like it has potential. We'll have to see more to really know. There wasn't a whole lot of story going on, but high quality cutscenes, top notch. But the aerial battle is what sets this game apart. That's what this game's going to be known for, is flying around and blasting bad guys out of the sky.
Did it feel like it was 360 tracking? They said that the tracking is supposed to be next level as far as being able to turn around, or did you try?
I didn't really try. I think that's what they mean by that. You playing this game, you don't really feel like you need to turn all that much, like physically. But they do have some things set in place for you, like if you get turned completely around, there's like an icon that'll pop up and let you know it. And if you do a complete 360, there's another icon telling you to check your cable to make sure it's not wrapped around your ankles.
That's good.
Like it actually tracks the way you're turning, and if you've made a full revolution or not.
I guess that will be helpful, right?
Yeah, for people like Mamefan, who like using that turn signal software, stuff like that. Yeah, I got to imagine it'd probably be very useful to him. People like Anthony, who constantly destroy their headsets because they knot them up by spinning around like a top. Yeah, I got to imagine it'll be very helpful to him.
Okay. Well, that's good. So let me ask you this: Did you buy it? I know last week you were ready to plunk some money down. I'm assuming they had to have opened it up for sale now that they've given a demo out.
I'm not sure if they have or not, but I will tell you this: we are quickly approaching the wish list segment, and I may go ahead and try to go through with what I started last week.
Yeah, because we're less than 6 weeks now before this thing gets. So if it's not in the store, I don't know what the hell's going on. Because it was weird that they pulled it to begin with. Because even if it's delayed, it's still. I mean, you would think everybody still wants it, right? But that was just, I guess, to avoid the knee-jerk freakouts, right? Say, hey, your money.
I think it was due to some uncertainty on the point of Sony. Their whole operation kind of got shut down with the outbreak, and they weren't quite sure how things were going to go for getting things through the QA process.
Yeah, I mean
And as time went on, and they got a grip, like most other things in the world, they managed, and right back on track with just a little bit of a delay.
That's good.
Anyway, I was thoroughly impressed with this demo. There was 2 fully playable levels, one being the tutorial level, which, I mean, it was a level to itself. You had to fly around and shoot a bunch of stuff to even get into the story level. The story level fairly lengthy in its own right. And then after you complete that, there are two like time-based challenge missions. So one of them's based on flight, the other one's based on combat. A lot of game there, man, in that demo. I would say that there's more in that Iron Man demo than there was the Spider-Man experience. If that gives you an idea of how big the demo is and how much gameplay
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
good. So that makes me think that the game's going to be pretty long then, right?
I would hope so. It's really the only question I have left about it. I already know that the gameplay's awesome, that it's good in every department, you know, as far as visuals, sound, you know, storytelling, you know, character models, voice acting, all that stuff, top notch. My only question now is it going to be long enough? Is the story that they're telling going to last 5+ hours? And you know, if I'm dropping $40 on a game, I want at least 5 to 8 hour story.
Yeah,
you know?
me too. Did you feel rich when you played? Like you were really a billionaire, Tony Stark?
I kind of did. You know, your character kind of has that attitude.
Yeah.
You realize it very quickly. He's a smug billionaire type.
Yeah, it must be nice, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. Up until the point where like all of these people with superpowers try to kill you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did have somebody rip his heart out or whatever. So
yeah. Spoiler alert.
yeah, hopefully you've watched the original Iron Man by now. After what, 15 years? Oh my God, she just spilled that coffee. That's not cool.
I know it. Stupid
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah, you can't even make a good cup of coffee. You're out of here.
The feel I got of it, as far as like you know, production wise, it felt like Defector. Like it felt like I was playing Defector. If I had to, not the outdoor flying stuff, but the indoor. These scenes here, when you're playing through them, it plays like Defector. It looks like Defector. Sounds like Defector.
What do you think that the odds of somebody playing the demo and then saying, "Nah, I'm just not getting it"? Is that it really shocked a lot of people? People that they put a lot of credibility into it. I must have seen that 100 times in the last couple days. People saying, "Well, they wouldn't have put a demo out unless it was good. It must be good." And that's not always the case.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't see very many people who exclusively game on PSVR passing on it. Now, somebody like me or you or Justin, I wouldn't think so, but I mean, I wouldn't be shocked either, you know.
Yeah.
I would think everybody's going to buy this game.
Yeah. I would if I had a PlayStation VR or if it was out for PC. It'd be a no-brainer.
I think we could see it for PC one day. I honestly do.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, it's going to sell a lot of headsets or a lot of games. You know, there's a lot of Marvel fans out there that they just want a legit Marvel game, and I think this is going to be it.
Yeah, for sure that this is going to be like leagues ahead of Marvel Powers United VR.
Yeah.
Leagues ahead.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this on the PS5.
This is going to be the story-driven adventure that we've wanted, right?
This kind of reminds me of Tornuffalo, the begin, you know, this part right here. So,
Only this is actually fair. Like you can actually play this.
Yeah, I was looking at that Tornuffalo again. And when I was looking at some 5-port games, I thought maybe I'll go back in and give it another shot. I don't know, maybe not.
Well, somebody revealed something to me about that game later on. Something about the controls or something you can do that kind of opened my eyes. Oh, I could have probably done a little better had I known that thing, but I don't even remember what it was now.
Maybe we'll have to revisit it.
Not a chance. If you download the Iron Man VR demo, you will also get access to the Molten Lava armor skin when the full game comes. Sony is bundling the game with different hardware depending upon where you live in the world. If you live in the United States and surrounding regions, That's what they call it where Scion lives, Roots. They call it surrounding regions.
The ones that are close. You're not quite the United States, but you're close enough.
He's our neighbor,
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, absolutely.
The company is launching a $350 package that contains the headset, a PlayStation camera, a pair of Move controllers, and the full game. So it's basically your standard PSVR Move controller bundle for $350. They tend to go on sale for $300 when they're on sale. We've seen previous iterations of this with like Blood and Truth. Skyrim was in this bundle at one point. Well, we've seen 7 or 8 of them now at this point of these bundles that come out for $350. This is the newest one, Iron Man VR. Now, in the UK and Europe, there's a bundle that comes with just the 2 Move controllers and the game for £85. So that's a pretty awesome deal. I mean, if the ratio is pretty close, dollar to pound, that's pretty much what you'd pay for those controllers anyway, right?
Yeah, and you get the game for free. That's good. It's a good deal.
Yeah, you're paying something like $5 for the game, $5-10. That's pretty
How
awesome.
come that's a UK only?
Because they're awesome and we suck.
Yeah, I will give them that. They are awesome. I don't know that we suck, but
No, dude, that was I was being facetious.
wow, okay.
They smell their own farts.
Yeah, who doesn't though these days? It's 2020, man.
They enjoy it.
Yeah, idiocracy.
Both bundles should arrive alongside the game itself on July 3rd. So not that long to wait, Roots, until PSVR has yet another full-fledged, badass VR game. They just got Saints and Sinners, man. They got Gorn. Now they're getting this. I mean,
Let me ask you, this about the demo. Is there physics, real physics? Like Walking Dead, or
there wasn't. There. Are you talking about The Walking Dead? Or are you
no,
talking
about this? About just because we were saying how the next level games are becoming more physics based, even just the point where you can't put your hand through stuff. Did you try that, or it probably wasn't even on your mind?
There wasn't enough of an opportunity to. Literally, you go from the tutorial level, which is all flight. The whole thing is flight. And then you go into the story level, which puts you in this jet here, but only for a minute. And most of it's locked down by, I don't really want to call it cutscene because it's interactive. Literally, you're talking to your receptionist lady, and you have dialogue choices to pick from, like Defector, pretty much. But there's not a whole lot you can do. You can't get up and walk around. You're in the seat the whole time. The only thing you can interact with is this briefcase. And let me tell you, it was a lot easier to get into than the briefcase on the Defector jet.
Yeah, that one was kind of actually had like puzzle elements to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to find the key.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certain dialogue. You had to make certain dialogue choices to even have the opportunity to find the key.
Yeah. Well, that's what's kind of cool about that game and maybe it'll be like that for this, where, it does affect the story a little bit, and how it unfolds.
That would be awesome.
So.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And, we said it last week. The more I think about it, the more I feel like Defector was terribly underrated as a game.
Especially for the cost. $20.
Yeah, for the cost, for the time that it came out. The game still holds up. And it's been out for a minute now.
Yeah. The blood and truth of PC VR.
Yeah. Well, I guess in many ways that's true. Anyway, Iron Man VR. Hopefully you can pre-order it today. We're about to find out. If not, July 3rd, it becomes available. The demo is available to play now, and just for downloading the demo, you get an in-game skin for the full version. So you can't beat free, Roots.
Yeah, I don't have a PlayStation VR. I wonder if I could still, if I downloaded it, right? That should be fine.
100%. You can go onto the PlayStation app on your phone, or you can go to the PlayStation Store on your computer. Just sign into your account and purchase the demo, and at least that way you'll get that skin, that free skin.
Well, maybe I could still play the game flat without VR with the Move controllers. I don't know that there'd be a point for it, right? But somebody out there wants to do it.
You have to wait for somebody to remake it for you in Source 2. Like trust me, if Iron Man VR turns out to be the best VR game we've ever seen, then a month from now somebody's going to be trying to make it in Source 2.
That'll be cool, right? Source 2 is so amazing.
It is. Have you tried out any of the workshop stuff yet?
No. See, I'm one of those people that I need someone to literally point me to, hey, this is the one you need to go see. I'm not one to, I don't want to go in and try 20 different ones. I want to try the best that as they drop, so. Exactly my attitude on it. I'm going to give it a week, give it 2 weeks, give it a month, and then go into the good ones, right? I don't want to play your shitty 10-minute level. I want to play some fucking world-class, worth paying for content. Yeah. Can't wait.
Okay, so 'tis the season, Roots. 'Tis the season for video game announcements, and obviously this is amplified to the nth degree with it being a console year, and it kind of just gives this extra level of excitement everywhere you look. But the Upload VR showcase is not based around console VR, but I gotta imagine that it's largely going to be based around PC VR and Quest, and we don't know the vast majority of what they're going to be showing on the Upload VR showcase. It always tends to be much of a surprise, but as time goes on, those of us out here that are eagle-eyed are starting to pick up on a few hints of what we may see, and the more I learn, Roots, the more excited I get.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited. Actually excited to see the first one that we're talking about, and we've been waiting for I don't know, I guess every time we talk about its success, how well number 1 did, we say number 2's got to be around the corner, right? And I think this time we might actually be right.
Oh yeah, man. You're talking, of course, about probably the most overdue sequel in all of VR, Super Hot VR. Super Hot, we've said it time and time again. Everybody has this game, dude. And you'd think that people at some point would quit buying it, but as the statistics we highlighted earlier show, not the case. These guys are still making a killing off of this game, and I don't even know how, man. I bought a copy of this on Viveport like a year ago for $1. So somehow they continue going strong. But that said, they have been teasing an announcement for a couple of weeks now, and I got to imagine if they're holding it for anything, it's got to be this, right?
Yeah. So do you think it's going to be number 2, hopefully? Not some other game.
Yeah, or something, super cold maybe. You remember that hoax we had a couple of years ago at E3 when somebody shared that that screenshot of super cold. So maybe that's what we're gonna have.
That would be weird. I don't know how they would play that as far as the play of words, but yeah, as long as I don't care what it's called, as long as that it's got the same gameplay. kicked up a notch. Maybe some crazy weapons or who knows what the hell they'll have in there. This game was so outside the box, even for a flat game. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the next game they put out.
Yeah, I have the utmost confidence in whatever they decide to do. It's going to be awesome and fun. There actually is a super cold on SideQuest.
Really? Is it from the same people though? I'm assuming, right?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. Not at all. I didn't bother downloading it. If that tells you anything.
Yeah, it tells me something. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, Super Hot sequel or anything new from the Super Hot developers, very likely to be announced at the Upload VR Showcase. Upload VR Showcase is scheduled for June 8th and is going to be simulcast for the first time ever on IGN, Roots. So mainstream coverage coming to for VR.
Yeah, not only for VR, but Upload, man. This last year and a half has been just climbing, right? They're just turned into one of the big boys, reputable. So that's cool.
Well, they've solidified themselves as the one, right? They're the media outlet. If you're looking for the guys to break your game, these are the ones you want doing it.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, but I had something else I wanted to share about Super Hot, but it completely has slipped my mind. Oh, I was just going to say it's probably not going to be a sequel. Probably not going to be anything like that. It's probably going to be some new platform that we're not even thinking about, like Super Hot's coming to Labo VR or something.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows, right? Switch.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, like the flat version, isn't that on Switch? I think it is.
Is it? I don't know. I know that it was flat because my nephew had played it flat, not VR, when I asked him about it. So, but I don't know what. I think it might have been. I don't know what platform that was on.
Anyway, what else? What else might we hear about from the Upload VR Showcase? Well, one thing that we're going to learn for sure, and it's probably my most anticipated announcement from this whole deal, and that is we're going to find out what Fast Travel Games has been working on. What's next for the developer of such great games as Apex Construct and The Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets. Andreas Julison, one of the lead guys there at Fast Travel, has been hyping this project for months on his Twitter account, Roots. I mean, like, he says he wants to scream it from the mountaintops that this thing is so awesome. That he said last week that it's the single coolest thing that he's ever worked on in his 17 years in video game development. These are the things that he's saying about it. And I've been waiting for months to figure out what he's talking about. I've kind of poked him and nudged him underneath the table to get him to whisper it to me off the record. He won't do it. But we're not going to have to wait much longer, Roots. June 8th, we are all going to know what it is.
Wow, that's crazy, man. 15 days, dude. 14. No, 15.
I mean, the way he's hyping it, it's got to be something big, right? It's got to either be like a known IP, or it's got to be a big budget exclusive, right?
Yeah, I agree. They're probably a known IP, but the fact that he's that vocal about how excited he is tells me it's going to be good. You know, I don't think it'll be something that, it's just some mediocre game.
Right. Well, we don't know much about it. But I do believe I read a quote from one of those Fast Travel guys last week that said that it's going to be made available for Quest, whatever it is. So I don't know if that means it's a cross-platform game or it's a Quest exclusive, or maybe I just misread the quote and I'm out of my damn mind. But I'm pretty sure that someone, maybe even inadvertently, let it slip that this is going to be a Quest title.
Well, 2 more weeks, we'll know.
Absolutely. Cloudhead Games will be contributing as well. So, at the very least, we can expect a PSVR release date for Pistol Whip. At the most, we could get some info about all of these big plans that they have for Pistol Whip. They keep talking about changing the game in fundamental ways going forward. Maybe that's what we're going to find out about.
Yeah, it makes me curious. What fundamental ways are they talking about? You know,
They said they have big plans for it. Big plans. They're going to reset the leaderboard's roots. That means they're going to change the game fundamentally.
Well, Gerillo needs to get his pistol whip back out. Then start whipping it around.
Yeah, for sure. This one was interesting. This one just dropped right as I was writing this show. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners has joined the lineup for the Upload VR showcase. Roots, this is interesting. The only thing that we know of that they're working on is the Quest version of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now, they just really went into full production of that, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. So I can't imagine that they would have very much gameplay to share at this point, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're further along than we think they are. Or maybe this is something different entirely. Maybe this is going to be some sort of DLC. Maybe it's new levels. Maybe it's multiplayer.
Maybe it's all three. DLC multiplayer with new levels. Let's see it.
Dude, that would be awesome. Nothing would shock me with these developers. They've been so great about supporting this game. I mean, they might be Developer of the Year.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, they're definitely in the running for me. It's one of the best games I've played for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the best games on PC. It's one of the best games on PlayStation VR. And I got to imagine it's probably, if they can pull it off and get it to run, it's got to be the best game on Quest when it comes out.
It's going to sell a crap load of games, man. All those new Quest owners are going to have this,
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what kind of witchcraft they're going to have to employ to get this to run on that thing. I mean, the games on it look good, but this is a big game. It's long.
Yeah, how many gigs do you think it would be?
Shit, man.
6?
5,
6?
6.
Yeah. That sounds small, but it's not.
It's not. For a Quest game, it's not.
That's crazy.
Anyway, that's intriguing. That's the most intriguing announcement I've heard about this thing so far. Panther VR set to release reveal their release date. We said it a few weeks ago that we should be expecting a release date from these guys anytime. Well, we know when now. It's going to happen on June 8th.
Yeah, makes you wonder how long from there it will be, right? We've been waiting for that game for a while.
Yeah, it's supposed to release last month.
Yeah.
So, Lo-Fi, getting something new from Lo-Fi, probably a new trailer, right?
Yeah, I think it would be another trailer. I saw somebody had done some footage of the. I need to get back in there, Wes, because we have access to it.
It was it was Paulo. Paulo did a video on it not that long ago, and there's a lot more in there now than there was last time we were.
Nothing story wise as far as I know, but it would be interesting too. I wish I could just go on a tour and not, because it kind of get confused on where to go, and it's kind of an open world, So
I mean it's still very much a shell of a game. It's not a game. It's not even close to being a game. But the once empty shell is now much fuller than it once was.
Yep.
So anyway, looking forward to whatever Mr. Renaud has in store for us. There's a new social VR app called Play Bunker set to be revealed at during the showcase. So I don't know what platform this is going to be for. I got to imagine probably the Oculus. Maybe it's cross-platform. Maybe it's Quest exclusive. Either way, new VR social app Play Bunker is set to be revealed during the Upload VR showcase.
Yeah, Play Bunker, huh?
yeah, Play Bunker. It's like we used to play during the Cold War.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I remember that.
Anyway, this is just what I've been able to gather. We're just 2 weeks out. What else is going to be revealed? Who knows? After the fall, maybe? Sniper Elite Roots, Ven VR Adventure.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about Ven lately. Just different posts, you know? A lot of different characters and the way that they're moving. And I mean, they're doing a really good job of just putting out little bits and pieces to get people interested, you know?
Yeah, it's like daily from those guys, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely makes me want to try their game.
Yeah, I love the nice third person platformer, and that one looks high quality, dude. It looks like it's on par with some of the others that we've played before.
Yeah, hopefully the gameplay will be as cool and as fun, and will make Astrobot seem like crap. That's what I'm hoping.
Found out something cool about Renlo today. Remember Renlo? We third person game that we covered last week, I think.
Yeah, last week or 2 weeks ago.
First of all, I saw some gameplay footage of it. It looked fairly decent. It looked pretty good. Second thing I found out, coming to Viveport Infinity.
Really? Wow.
Yep, coming soon to Viveport Infinity.
Yeah, so you can choose Renlo or you can choose Tornuffalo. I say go Renlo because it actually looks like a good game, and Tornuffalo not so much.
Yeah, probably a safe bet.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sniper Elite, super hyped for that one. You know, aim controller supported Sniper Adventure. I mean, what else do I need to say there? After the fall, you know, that thing got revealed and it's pretty much been silent since then. I got to imagine we're going to hear more on that soon.
Yeah,
right?
we have to. We have that one. We've got to hear, and that and Onslaught. We still haven't heard much about that for a long time, right?
Yeah, man, it's time. It's time for them just to release that damn game. I get it. They don't want brand confusion with the other Walking Dead game, but man, I mean, they're going to be releasing new iterations on this game for the rest of the year. Are you really willing to wait till 2021 to have the market to yourself? Your game's going to be antiquated by then. Release the damn thing already.
Yeah, I'm not willing to wait. I want it now.
We want it all.
I want to be Daryl.
We want it all. We want it all. And we want it now.
Now.
All right. Anyway, Upload VR Showcase coming June 8th. Any further developments that we learn of, we will be sure to report on an upcoming episode. All right, and with that, this is going to bring us to our weekly reminders. And of course, we're going to start off our weekly reminders, as we always do, by asking you, the viewer at home, to act along with us as we go to our store of choice and wish list some of these awesome games that we've been talking about today. Roots, and you know, honestly, we haven't done any deep dive on any new titles here. So really, this is just a time for us all to just kind of, you know, check up on some of these more established titles. If we don't own them yet, they should certainly be on the wish list. For example, we talked about, I'm not saying Super Hot, man. I don't give a shit. Everybody already has Super Hot, and if they don't, they
Saints
don't
and
need to be
Sinners.
buying it anyway.
You might not have that. You should definitely wish list that game.
Yeah,
if
for
you don't
sure,
have it.
Saints and Sinners. And then Iron Man VR. Yeah, and you know, I said I was going to do it. Let's go on here and see if I can finally buy this stupid game.
Onslaught. I'd like to wish list that. I guess I do have it wish listed, I think.
Yeah, everybody should have. just the demo.
Hmm.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Why would you not want people to spend their money?
Yeah, I think I read that it was actually open for pre-order as well, but let me try searching it a different way.
Tower edition. I want my backpack. Collector swag.
Click on it. People who bought this also bought Groundhog Day like father, like son.
Yeah, I did. I bought that.
Indeed you did. All right, man. Well, you know what? I'm just going to wish list it. The demo itself had... Oh, I got...
I don't even think you were able to wish list last week, right? So at least you can do that now.
I think, honestly, though, I think I'm just wish listing the stupid demo. Oh, give me a break here, man. All right, now we're signed in. Now we can, you know, okay, it's in my wish list. All right. But it's just a demo. Yeah, it's just the demos in my wish list.
So dumb, right?
Fair enough. I'll just wait till it comes out. 1,036 ratings, Roots. Looks like 4 3/4 stars.
Pretty good.
Out of 5. That's pretty damn good. You know that other 1/3%. You know what they're all saying, right? We don't have no damn thumbsticks. It'd be better if we had thumbsticks.
Yeah. Well, you gotta have a thumbstick.
Yeah. You know where you can stick that thumb, Roots?
I'll guess on that one.
You'll gas on it?
I'll gas, yeah. I'll gas on it bad.
All right. Anyway, so that was Wishlist. Again, guys, helpful to the developers for you to wishlist these games. It helps them not only track demand, but it also helps them in the algorithms for these stores and what gets promoted versus what doesn't get promoted, among other things. It's a big deal to them. That's why they ask us to do it all the time. So be sure to get on there and do that.
True.
All right. The next section of reminders is my favorite, Roots. Quickly becoming one of my favorite segments every week. Free stuff and killer deals. And the free stuff, not quite as enthralling as last week, but some pretty killer deals to make up for it. First of all, as always, PlayStation Plus for the month of May brings City Skylines and Farming Simulator 19 to the fray. Absolutely free of charge for those who subscribe to PlayStation Plus. Again, next week, there are going to be some awesome sales incoming for Sony's Days of Play. You're going to see Astrobot Rescue Mission on sale, Blood and Truth, Farpoint, and more all next week. So be on the lookout for that. And obviously, if we're talking about free stuff, this Iron Man VR playable demo, I mean, shit, dude, this is a $5 or $10 app as it sits. Like, honestly, there's a ton of replay value to it here, and it's fun. If you like the Spider-Man Far From Home, is that the most recent one?
I think that was the first one, but I'm not sure which one was. But
Yeah.
the one that was actually more like a game. So you
Homecoming.
Okay, so do you think that one's better than this one's better than that?
Yeah, I think it is better than that slightly. It's very similar.
Okay.
It's very similar to that. But there's some more story going on here, some more high quality cinematics going on with it. But from a gameplay perspective, from a structure perspective, very similar to that.
Think it's gonna blow people away?
I think it absolutely is going to blow people away.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, free, dude. Free. Get it.
Yeah. Who doesn't love free, right?
And they give you a free skin in the main game for even picking up the demo.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's free on top of free squared. Roots.
So could you see yourself or somebody just saying, I'm just gonna keep playing the demo over and over again? Because I don't.
I could see him doing those challenge levels over and over again.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, trying to beat their score like it's a timed challenge thing. So, yeah, I'd say it's got some real replay to it. Even the story does too. I mean, I'm going to play through it again a couple more times just because I feel like I need to get better at flying. I think it'll be an advantage to me going into the main game if I play through the demo a couple more times. And honestly, it's just fun. So
Nice. Well, now I can. That's the reason why I can feel like I need to have a PlayStation. This is the first one so far.
yeah, well, there you go. Epic Game Store this week, bringing us Civilization 6, free to keep this week on the Epic Game Store. You know, Civilization, not so much my bag, Roots, but I mean, again, just like last week, one of the most popular games of all time, Civilization.
I wish you could play that game in VR. Like you could shrink yourself down to be one of the soldiers or whichever one you wanted to be, wherever you could, kind of like a Sim City, but you could shrink down and go inside your city and ride the train and all. I just think you could, there's so much potential. I mean, the biggest one would be making a roller coaster or like amusement park and going in it and actually riding all the rides and stuff, but having people come with you. I think there's just a lot of that kind of stuff where, you know, you've already seen it with that one rolling line or whatever. You can make the train and then you can shrink yourself down, ride the train, and why not? Same thing, you know?
Yep, 100%. And yeah, who knows what tomorrow will bring? Absolutely, all things are possible, right? Because especially in these current times, it seems like the paradigm is shifting, and outside the box thinking is not so uncommon anymore.
Yeah, awesome.
And then we come to the Oculus Rift S anniversary sales. It's probably the best sale that we have going on this week. Is the Oculus Rift S anniversary sale. Tons of great titles on sale. Until You Fall is on sale for $14, Roots. One of the best releases of the last year, I would say. Certainly one of the best Melee games I've ever played. Definitely worth $14.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't played more of it. I need to get back in there.
I wholeheartedly agree with that statement.
Now, let me ask you this about these games, because I'm sure you'll bring up a couple others, but a lot of people were upset about the sale, right? Because, like, everybody thought, okay, the Oculus sale is going to be this huge thing that they're going to, you know, the games that I can never get on sale anywhere, which is exclusives, you know, any of them, just one exclusive, you know, Oculus needs to start realizing that people don't own a lot of these exclusives. They're waiting for a sale. You know, it's like Marvel Powers United. I got it for $20. I think people would buy that all day long if it came out for $20 on a sale, but they don't even take advantage of it. It's the same stuff that's been on sale every sale forever, right? I mean, not all of them, but mostly, compared to what people were really looking for, which was the exclusives. I think they missed a chance to do that, you know?
Well, in their defense, one, these people that are bitching always bitch. They always bitch, dude. They always bitch. Yeah. Secondly, last week Defector was $10. Yeah, I'm not sure if it still is or not, but this week Journey of the Gods, which is normally a $30 game, is $24. And I gotta be honest, dude, Journey of the Gods is an awesome game. And ever since I got thinking about Oculus Quest and Oculus Rift S and the birthday and, you know, that whole period last year when this stuff was launching, I keep going back to Journey of the Gods in my mind. I want to go back in it. It's just such a fun game. And a lot of people dismiss it because of the lack of detail the graphics have. It's probably some of the best sound design I've ever encountered in VR.
Yeah, but it's on the Quest at the same time, so it's got to be garbage.
Right. Anyway, that game's $24. It's absolutely worth it. If anybody likes the classic Zelda style adventure, I highly recommend Journey of the Gods. Still one of the most unique games I've ever played in VR. Groundhog Day, $10. You know, the big problem with Groundhog Day when it launched was it was overpriced, right? $30.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's way overpriced. I think $10 is perfect. I think 15 to 20 would be questionable. You know, it's still good, but $30 was an expensive price to pay for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely worth 10. As is Evasion. You know, Evasion. If you want a nice, fast-paced arcade style shooter that you can play with friends, I mean, shit, man, Evasion's a ton of fun. And bullet hell, right?
Yeah, or do it by yourself, like I did. It was hard, man. I got all the way to the very last guy. I still need to finish it, but yeah, what I liked about this is you have the different classes, one that actually can heal the others, and so there is a reason to have multiple people, and it is actually bullet hell. It's hard and very unique. It was different, and for $10, it's definitely, in my opinion, well worth $10.
Yeah, another one of those games that I want to play every time I look at it. Like every time somebody talks about it, every time I see a clip of it, I want to go into it and play it. And still have never played this on PC.
Yeah, we need to play this multiplayer PC.
I don't know. I'm thinking it might be weird because I played it with the aim controller. Like I had an actual gun.
Yeah, but you'll have actual tracking, so it kind of evens out.
Well, I mean, the tracking, I mean, it was good enough for me to beat it, so it wasn't that bad, dude.
Yeah, well, maybe using a different guns wouldn't be that bad, because you actually have one gun and a shield. It's completely different type of style of gameplay versus, you know what I mean? Having
So it separates it in the game?
Yeah, you can have you have a shield in one hand and the gun in the other.
But on PlayStation, like the shield comes out of the gun,
Well, yeah, because you only have one gun, you don't have two hands. Although this footage here.
That's cool if it's separate like that.
I think it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I want it to be so bad. But either way, it'll still be a good time on the PC.
Yeah. So, anyway. PS4 is better than PC.
Yeah, of course. Well, no, PS5, arguably.
And I'm just telling you what they heard. Like when I said, I don't think it might feel weird because I'm used to playing with the aim controller. They didn't hear that. They heard PS4 is better than PC. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you hear what you want to hear, right? Yep. Freediver, $5, dude. I mean. Shit, man, come on. $5 for a completely unique gameplay mechanic and an awesome story, albeit short.
Yeah, well, especially if it was somebody that was on the fence for $10 and they said, it's only 2 hours long or whatever it is. For $5, it's definitely worth it. I mean, I thought it was worth $10, for as good of a game as it was,
Yeah, the swim mechanic is next level, and I mean people spend that much to go rent a movie or whatever. I mean, if you want some world-class storytelling and a immersive storytelling, I mean $5 and you don't have to take it back when you're done.
You can play through it again.
And then here we are again, Super Hot, $12, Roots. What can we say about Super Hot that we haven't already?
Well, we already said that we're surprised anybody doesn't own this game. Although when we gave away keys, there were still people that wanted it, so I guess that tells you that not everybody owns it, right?
Well, here's the thing with the Super Hot keys. Like I literally tried to give it out during a live stream, and nobody claimed it. And then on a later episode, when I mentioned that I couldn't give away this copy of Super Hot, then someone stepped up and says, you know what, I don't have it on PC, give it to me. So
Well, that's cool. At least we're still giving them away.
Yeah, please, everybody get a copy of Super Hot so that we can finally get the damn sequel.
Yeah, maybe it's coming.
Quit buying it.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're gonna announce.
I hope so. Oculus Quest anniversary sale. Not quite as robust as the Rift S sale, not surprisingly. But again, Journey of the Gods, $24. Recommend all day long. Red Matter, one of the most highly praised games on Oculus Quest, probably the most well known for beautiful graphics. $20, Roots. Definitely worth that, especially if you haven't played it before.
Yeah,
right?
that's what it took. What, 4 or 5 hours to beat? 6 hours maybe. I mean, it was actually one of the best games that I played. I love the teleport, the way that it kind of floats you there. I guess they've added locomotion since I originally played it, but now I really enjoyed it. So
Yeah, a great, beautiful game. Probably one of the longer, deeper experiences on Oculus Quest today. I expect you to die, Roots. Now, this game just won't die. Like, as many people liked it on PC, I feel like this is one of the most celebrated titles on Oculus Quest, surprisingly.
yeah, no, it's one of the most complete puzzle games on Quest. I mean, there's other ones, like Room in VR or whatever adventure. But this one was just unique and different. The way that it thought outside, makes you think outside the box. It's got humor to it, a lot of dying, and yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, $20 for sure. Recommend that, especially on a platform like Quest that has, well, we all know what the library is. I mean, it's a growing quickly, but this is definitely one of the best games on
They
there.
keep adding to it too, right? I mean, this is like one that seems like every couple months there's a new level. There's several levels now, and that was one of the only gripes I think when it first dropped was it didn't have enough levels, and they've fixed that by then. Probably 3 times as many levels now.
Yeah, and it is complete. No more DLCs coming for this one. But there's plenty now. There's plenty of levels. Like, it's a long game. And then there's Virtual Desktop for $16. Roots. Why would anybody want to buy a Virtual Desktop for Oculus Quest? Well, because you must buy a Virtual Desktop for Oculus Quest if you want to load the SideQuest mod, which allows you to stream PC VR games, both from Steam VR as well as Oculus, as well as just general PC games. You can force them into the Virtual Desktop even if they don't belong to either of your libraries.
That's cool. That's actually a really good deal. Cool. $16. I think I might have paid $30 for it when I originally bought it, and that was a year and a half ago for PC anyway.
Yeah. I bought it. I think I got it on sale. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it. But anyway, that wraps the Quest anniversary sale. They have a lot of bundles. That's what they like to do with Quest, is bundle titles together. And these are big bundles, Roots, like $150, like big bundles with tons of big name games in them. Good deals in their own right. I'm just not one to buy bundles. I like individual games being on sale.
Yeah, well, considering that at least Oculus screws you as far as that. Like, if you don't like a specific game in the bundle, you can't just return one, or you can't return any of it.
Right.
You're pretty much stuck with it, dude. Sorry, you didn't like the game. Well, it was in a bundle. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I'm not down with the Oculus bundles for sure. Yeah. Viveport this month brings a couple of new titles to Viveport Infinity. Most notably among them, Roots, Dan Carlin's War Remains. And this game, this is a 10-minute historical VR experience that puts you in the trenches of World War I. And I did go into Viveport today and check it out, Roots. And I got to say, first of all, graphically, very, very good looking, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really cool too, the way that they did it. The whole story and the way that, you know, you're floating in a balloon, or I guess it's a Zeppelin, and you're watching all the flighting, and they do a good job of setting the tone, you know, just explaining the difference in generational gaps in technology, and how one generation was running right smack into the other, where, you know, you had soldiers up there that were probably used to fighting a completely different war. All of a sudden, that all just chaos with all these bombs and planes and things that were up until that then recent were science fiction, and things that they would have never dreamed they were going to see were now right in their face, killing people. Must have been pretty crazy. Now, I will say the narrator in this thing was very intense at the way that he was reading and stuff, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and it makes me psyched to see what the future holds for history telling. You know, if you could take something like this that can make you really feel like you were there, you know, maybe you see Anne Frank's house a little differently. I know they had that one that was, you know, it's okay, but you know, if you could really feel like you were there in that cellar, and you were about to be caught by Nazis and stuff, I don't know, man. It's just going to be a next level for history, and getting people to really see a different side of what they're showing you. So
Yeah, I agree 100%. This title does a very good job of that. The narration is very well written. It combines historical facts and anecdotes with individual user accounts to create these scenarios that it then puts you in, and you get to watch it play out. And war is not pretty, and never has that been more obvious than the age of VR. You know, watching a war movie is one thing, but being in the movie is another. But yeah, it was an interesting time, World War One. Again, it was, as you mentioned, it was a period in time where the technological age was just beginning to take hold, and we had people going out on the battlefield with horses and muskets, only to be, you know, ran down by tanks and planes and you know, artillery fire, and just being torn to shreds. You know, flesh just torn to shreds. So yeah, this title is pretty hard hitting in that respect. It's not like super gory or anything, but it's enough to make you empathize with the soldiers that are in the trenches with you. And yeah, I completely agree with with you about the narration. The guy sounds like he's doing a commercial for like a monster truck rally or a tractor pull. You know, Sunday, 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 World War One comes to you.
yeah, it was definitely intense. But yeah, no, I enjoyed every minute of it. It was one of those things that I watched or went through and was glad that I did. And to be able to see it for free on Viveport makes it even that much more amazing. Although it's not that expensive, it's like $4 or $5 or something. I think it's worth that if you wanted to own it and, you know, have it in your Steam library. Definitely think as far as a immersive story, you know, it's about 10 minutes, but was worth it to me. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd say it's worth a 5 spot for sure. Even though it is 10 minutes, it is pretty well done. And if this sort of historical experience is your bag, or maybe even you're a war buff. I mean, some people like these old World War documentary style things. This is definitely a different experience, especially to someone who's only knows, you know, the History Channel.
well, I was just gonna say, imagine like if this was something that was put out by the History Channel, and it had the production of the History Channel with the narration, and they were taking you through this immersive movie or experience, an hour long, instead of watching some History Channel show that's really intriguing for an hour. You actually get to go there, and the production level, and I don't know, man, I see the future, you know, and it looks good for VR. So
Yeah, I agree. in all aspects, right?
Yeah.
Entertainment, social, educational, gaming, just in every aspect. VR has something to offer. So,
Yeah, for sure.
this is just another example of that. And Steam. Now, Steam, of course, as always, has a ton of VR titles on sale. I wrote a few of them down here. First of all, Crow Team Bundle. We've referenced it a few times over the last 4 to 6 weeks. We've told people to watch out. It goes on sale cheap. Roots, it's on sale cheap. $32 gives you all 4 of the Serious Sam VR games, as well as the Talos Principle, which is one of the more highly regarded puzzle games in VR. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Even just the Serious Sams, even if you don't know the Talos Principle, just one of these games. And it made, when I was watching this trailer, it made me think we need to get in there and get some multiplayer Serious Sam action going, because I think it's the only way I'm going to beat the game. I made it really far by myself, but it gets difficult. At least the second one that I've played. I think it was the second or third one. I don't know. Whichever one Mamefan said was not the best one that everybody else told me was, when they lied to me. But I don't know. It's such an amazing game, so fun, and I would imagine with another player it'd be that much more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Co-op supported in these Serious Sam games, and yeah, I'd be down for that. At least for a session or two to see how we like it.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. I know I enjoy it.
Oh,
it's cool. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I definitely enjoy it. Playing it single player, it's nuts. It's like frenetic, like crazy paced game, like people running at you and exploding everywhere, and it's just nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The Persistence, as we have reported a few different times on the channel this week, is available on Steam. Now, we recommended this game at $30, but it's currently sporting a launch week discount of 10%, so you can get it for $27. Worth $30 all day long, Roots. No brainer at $27.
It is to me. Now, let me ask you this. I've seen this weird thing about hand presence. You know, Mamefan even put in his review that, or not a review, but a request in the forums that, you know, he'll buy it hands down if it's got hand presence. I just don't, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal to me. I just sit back, grab the controller, and forget about it. I just I don't know. I really enjoy this game. It's one of the best games of its kind, and I think people are really missing out by not playing it just because it's not got hand presence. I mean, that's what Vorpex is all about. Most of it, right? A lot of it, you just have to deal with the fact that you have no hand presence, right?
Yeah, but with Vorpex, I can use my mouse and keyboard.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the mouse and keyboard and crowd. I don't know, man. This game to me is just really cool, and I think it's a shame that people will miss out on it. I mean, obviously they have that right, but they're missing out on a really good game.
Yeah, I agree. The controls are so intuitive in this game. Like it's all gaze based. Like everything's gaze based. So you're just looking at stuff and pressing a button, and like if that isn't enough to make you forget about it, there's the fully modeled arms and hands that are fully animated. So not only do you have these intuitive controls that you're not thinking about, but you have your actual hands in the game doing stuff. So yeah, you really don't think about it. It's probably one of, if not the very best implementation of gamepad control in a VR game.
I just think about Resident Evil 7, how much I would have missed out on if I had been like, well, it's not, you know, it's a controller, you know. It's like it was just, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the Persistence, and I think it's worth playing. Now, it would be nice to be able to still use my controllers like a gamepad, so I don't have to use the gamepad, because I prefer to just sit back with 2 touch controllers, but I'm kind of weird like that. So
yeah, I agree with that, and I think it's quite possible that we'll see that in some future update. You know, this game, it didn't just come to Steam VR. You hear these all these VR guys leaving comments on it, like they just took this PSVR title and brought it to Steam VR. No, they didn't. They brought it to Steam flat, and Xbox flat, and Nintendo Switch flat, and the PS4 flat. They just also allowed it to support VR on Steam the way it does in PlayStation. So it's not like this game was developed, specifically with Steam VR in mind. It's just additional functionality. So.
And it just shows you how good these devs are, right? Like I said before,
Yeah,
it's one of the only games I know of that started as a VR and went flat successfully on several different platforms. With Switch, once you've made it to Switch, you made it. So
yeah. Once you get on that Switch, boy, you're in the dough.
Yeah.
And there was another bundle. I said I don't like bundles, but this is a pretty damn good one, Roots. Boiling Steel Developer Bundle on Steam gives you Boiling Steel and Guns and Stories Bulletproof for $13.
That's a really good deal. I just have a confession to make about the Guns and Stories. I figured out the other day, I had said I made it to stage 3. I didn't make it to stage 3. I made it to stage 1, the third part of stage 1. So I went back in and I was like, holy crap. No, I didn't even know that there was that many. So there's 3 times as much game as I thought there was originally. And it's no joke, man. That game is fun. It's and it's a little bit difficult as well. With as big of a game Boiling Steel is, that's a really good deal for $13.
Yeah, and you can get Guns and Stories by itself right now for $5, and it's worth that all day. But I mean, if you can just put $8 more on top of that for Boiling Steel is a tremendous game.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's going to wrap up free stuff and killer deals. Again, light on the free stuff, but pretty heavy on the killer deals this week, huh?
Yeah, although I still think Oculus need to step it up a little bit from what the community that you said always complains about, which is true. And they don't have many. They used to have a lot more like 1-day sales, right? Like all of a sudden, like that's how I got that Marvel Powers United for $20. It was just $20 one day, and that's the only time I've ever seen it be on sale. They need to bring that back.
That is true. It is. That I forgot to mention that, but both the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Rift store are doing daily deals through this whole thing.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe there will be.
Let me see what's on daily deal today.
Yeah.
Daily deal right now.
I want to get Dead and Buried too, but I don't want to spend $20. Hopefully that's one I'm hoping goes on sale.
Looks like we're in between daily deals right now because I guess the last one just went off and the next one's not up yet.
Dead and Buried 2? Maybe not.
Oh, maybe. Who knows? Who knows, brah?
I'd buy it. I'd buy it all day right now. Pavlov would be nice to go on sale. So that VR Spry guy could pick it up and Scion could pick it up.
Dead and Buried 2 is $20, Roots.
What is? Yeah, it's not on sale. It'll go on sale for like $10 someday.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
All right, Roots. That brings us to our final reminder, and that, of course, is how you can support our channel. I mean, we did it, Roots. We held up our end of the bargain. Now it's their turn, right?
Yeah.
You know what you got to do. We brought you the goods. Now you have to do your duty, and if you have not done so yet, subscribe, click the notification bell to keep up with all of our content, and if you like the video, give it one of these right here. Of course, if you're already a subscriber and a long-time viewer and listener of our content, you can help support our channel further by supporting us on Patreon. For as little as $3 per month, you can gain access to all of our show notes, which are a pretty hefty read every week, as well as the occasional episode of The Money Show, which is a collection of outtakes that we record as we make these videos. Roots, salt of the earth, our Patreon supporters, and the Money Show. The Money Show is where it's at. I've been thinking about doing The Money Show live, just real quick to show people, hey, this is what The Money Show is.
Yeah, and we could actually, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow sometime for our inaugural testing of the live show for Monday.
There you go. Money Show live. We can talk about the Windows MR 2.0 maybe, or talk about some game that we can talk about. Into the Radius just got another milestone update. Maybe we could go into that. Who knows? We could talk about any damn thing on The Money Show. That's why it's The Money Show. There's stuff on there you'll never see on YouTube proper, because we aren't stupid, folks. We know where to keep it.
That's right.
Anyway, like, subscribe, support us on Patreon, and most importantly of all, join the conversation. How do I do that, you might ask? Well, you scroll down to the description, you find the invitation to our Discord server, and when you click it, you will be magically transported to a world of PC enthusiasts and PC enthusiasts talking about VR 24/7, and it's a magical wonderland.
Yeah,
right?
It is. It's a good place to meet up for gaming and hang out with like-minded individuals that all love VR. So
this is true. The multiplayer's popping off on a daily basis, and so are the mouse popping off on a daily basis. So it's a lot of fun. It's literally my favorite part of all this stuff we do is hanging out with the community, talking to people in Discord. Spend as much time doing that as I do making content.
yeah, well, hopefully that'll be not the case anymore. You'll be playing more games as we go live and freeing up some time. So
that's the plan. All right. Anyway, I guess that's going to wrap us up for the week. What did you think? Be sure to leave a comment down below. And so with that said, friends, we'd like to thank you once again for watching, and for Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow, friends. Bye-bye.
take it easy.